Hello, good morning and welcome to Ireland AM on Virgin Media 1. It is Tuesday, the 17th of October.
We have got a busy old show in store, so let's take a look at what's coming up.
Indeed, we're going to be chatting to the author behind a new dystopian novel. Do you know what this is doing?
No.
It's critiquing society's unattainable beauty standards and obsession with social media validation. Together, it's for us. It's for us.
I have no idea what that means. There you have it.
We're going to find out more.
We will find out.
Tune in to find out, OK?
New dystopian novel at 8:20. Looking forward to that. Now, Big Brother, it is back and we're going to be watching. We're going to be catching up with some of the Irish former contestants to get their take on the hit reality show's revival.
Yes, plus we're going to be talking hair shedding and how to help it, to prevent it. We're going to be doing that at the end of the show. We're going to keep you paranoid until the end of the show. Is that it?
So, yeah. Really look forward to that. I'll take whatever's coming. Now, Alan, what else has we got?
Well, Tommy, I'm joined now by Emily Archer, whose artistic calendars focus on the Earth's natural cycles. So tell us about this. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
So the Earth's natural cycle. So what cycle are we in at the moment?
So Samhain, the season of Samhain is upon us now. So in our Celtic calendar, our Wheel of the Year, we're up here. So these calendars are designed to be turned with the seasons.
Oh, so you'd have it at home and you'd keep turning it.
Exactly.
It's like you're changing your calendar, but you just turn this around.
You just turn it around, yeah.
OK, fascinating. We're going to be chatting to you more about that and sound a little later on. Now, Deric is in Meath this morning. What's on the agenda today, Deric?
Yes, Al, we're live up here in Navan in County Meath, and talking of cycles, we're in a bad cycle in terms of weather out there this morning, especially through parts of the south, because we're kicking off your Tuesday morning with that status orange rain warning for Cork, Kerry and into Waterford. Poor visibility, poor driving conditions, coastal topping in terms of those waves, and localised spot flooding. In fact, that warning remaining in place until 1 o'clock on Wednesday afternoon. Anyway, Navan and County Meath is where we're at this morning. A change of gear, because we're going to be learning all about Kenku karate. It's an Americanized style of the martial art form. So we've all that to come live here from Navan and County Meath, right across the Moran.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. Its headline, Higgins criticises reckless von der Leyen. President Michael D. Higgins has criticised the European Commission President's approach towards the Israel-Hamas conflict as thoughtless and reckless, as national leaders convene an emergency meeting to take a grip on the European Union's discordant response.
Fears grow for Irish troops as Gaza crisis threatens to spread. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The government is concerned for the safety of hundreds of Irish troops in the Middle East. Irish peacekeepers in Lebanon have been forced into groundhog mode, meaning they have taken shelter in bunkers during rocket attacks since Israel declared war following the Hamas attacks.
And the Sun leads with, I lost 28 relatives in Gaza airstrikes. A heartbroken Irish woman has told how 28 members of her family, 10 of whom were children, have been killed in war-stricken Gaza as Israel prepares a ground assault on the region.
The Examiner leads with, accused denies murder of Aisling. 33-year-old Joseph Puska has denied the murder of schoolteacher Aisling Murphy in County Offaly last year. Proceedings will get underway today with the opening speech for the prosecution. A jury of 3 women and 9 men have been sworn to hear the trial.
The Star also leads with this story, I didn't murder Aisling. The trial, which jurors heard may last 5 weeks, will begin this morning in front of Mr. Justice Tony Hunt. Potential jurors were yesterday told by Justice Hunt not to sit on the case if they have previously engaged in social media commentary on it.
The Mirror similarly goes with, Aisling murder accused pleads not guilty.
The Herald's front page, I did not have sex with a schoolboy. A teacher accused of indecently assaulting a male student 38 years ago has told a jury she never had sexual relations of any kind with the child.
And finally, no bailout for health is the top story on the Daily Mail. Hopes that cuts to the Department of Health annual budget would be filled by a bailout were dashed last night when Cabinet Ministers disclosed that any additional monies would merely keep the lights on.
So coming up after the break, we're going to be talking about upcoming budget payments, 2 potential penalty point increases at the bank holiday. So we'll have the latest stories making the news this morning.
Yeah, let us know what you think of any of those stories making the papers this morning. 0896 111 111. We'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Welcome back. Now, the first of 9 lump sums worth a total of 1.2 billion announced in last week's budget to help meet cost of living increases will begin to be paid from mid-November.
So joining us with that story and everything else this morning is News Talk's Andrea Gilligan. Good morning. To you, Andrea. So yes, we had the budget last week, one for everybody in the audience, as we kept being told. And these lump sums seem to be, going to be starting very soon.
Yeah, well, the first of 9 effectively payments worth about 1.2 billion are going to be paid from Monday, the 20th of November. So around a month, basically a month from now. So the first 3 payments are going to be made in the first instance, which will be the working family payment. That's worth about €400.
Okay.
Along with the €400, the disability support grant. That's issued to about 214,000 people. And then around 400,000 homeowners are going to be able to avail of the €300 fuel allowance lump sum. So they're the first 3 that'll be paid. Then the following week, the following Monday from November 27th, 3 further supports are going to be paid. So for carers, caring for relatives, family members in their home, there's a €400 grant there. About 130,000 people will be able to avail of that. €200 support for people who are on the living alone allowance. That'll also be paid from Monday the 27th of November. And then the one-off €100, the qualified child benefit, that too is going to be paid. The other thing just to note, as well, I suppose, the Christmas bonus, that's something that, a lot of people have keen interest in when exactly that's going to be paid, given the time of year that it is. That'll be issued this year on the 4th of December, along with the double child benefit that's issued too of the €280 per child. So that's, I suppose, for people in receipt of those specific payments, very much, needed and required payments. They're the dates, effectively, the 20th of November, 27th of November and December 4th. Now, on the universal payments, which will be the payment issued to every single household in the country for the electricity grant, effectively, the first of the €150 payments, of which there'll be 3, that'll be issued on December 1st. January 1st, 2024, and then also again on the 1st of March.
Taken directly off at the bill?
To the best of my knowledge, I think it is going to be no changes in terms of how that will be issued. So it's the Social Protection Minister, Heather Humphreys. She's going to announce this through Cabinet today, and then obviously the electricity grant, that's been announced by the Environment Minister, Eamon Ryan. So I suppose a lot of people are paid. I know myself, you're paid like on a monthly basis. Always maybe, a specific date at the end of the month or the last Friday. So they're just dates worth noting, particularly given the time of year that we're coming into. I'm sure a lot of us live those marked in the calendar.
You're feeling the cold coming in, certainly in the last day or two.
Wow, do you know what's funny? I had the heat on last night for, I think,
not for the first time.
Well, first time I had it on for a steady period.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first time I had it on for a steady period.
I've put the heat on. We did. We put the heat on. Tommy's
We're cold creatures, Mary.
Why is your heat not on yet? I was like, just flash on a jumper.
I wish my wife is as good as you, Per.
Loads of blankets. Loads of blankets.
So tell her.
But it's 1.2 billion to sort of try to keep people going. Like this is, you can sit there and go, this is great, but there's a lot of people who need to put these dates in their calendar.
Absolutely. No question about it. Yeah.
It's just mad. We're just wondering what you make of the payments. Is it something that you really need? Because everything is in the papers today. That is reported by Harry McGee and Jennifer Bray in the Irish Times about the dates that these are going to be paid. 0896 111 111. Now, 3 a.m. as we were getting up to go to work, there was people still working to call off a strike.
Yeah, this is the strike by about 5,000 workers that are employed across 18 different voluntary and community sectors. So these are people that are they're employed by the state, but their counterparts are different. We often hear when we talk to those working in various different health sectors, people would describe themselves as being a Section 39 worker, meaning that they might work in a health or a disability service. These are people that are working in agencies that are largely funded by the state, but actually their pay and terms and conditions are different to those within the likes of the...
So they're working for the agencies as opposed to the government?
They're working for agencies that are directly
but those agencies are being funded by the government?
Largely funded by the
community and voluntary sector an awful lot of the time.
5,000 of those workers.
Yes, and they're paid very differently to their counterparts who might be doing the same job in the HSE.
Yeah, they've been talking for years, I suppose, about the pay disparity that has been evident and experienced by at least 5,000 workers across these 18 different community and voluntary sectors. So effectively, they're not happy with their pay and conditions. They've been talking about this. They've been, lobbying about it for quite some time. And they'd actually made the decision that from today they were going on indefinite strike. So the trade unions also... the talks, I should say, between the trade unions and the government representatives, they took place at the Workplace Relations Commission, and at about 3 o'clock this morning, they came to an agreement on the pay and conditions. So effectively, there's going to be a new set of proposals, and that's now going to include an offer from the government of about an 8% increase in funding for pay, because a 5% offer had actually previously been rejected by the unions.
Pay differential is more than 10%.
Yeah.
But they've kind of met in the middle of
Yeah,
that.
but
Now, is that down to the agencies are going to have to pay more money, or the government going to have to pay the agencies more money that they're going to take their commission out before it goes to the workers?
Presumably it will come, I'd imagine, from the
government.
Health Service executive funding. I mean, there's been a lot made in the budget around the overall spend towards the health sector and health department.
And it is people, we should say, it's agencies like Enable Ireland that are involved in this sector. So a lot of people were leaving the sector to go working in the HSE because of the disparities.
They couldn't retain the staff, and it's a long time there.
Yeah, if you're involved in this, we'd love to hear from you this morning, because there's a lot of people involved in this. 0896 111 111 if you're happy that the strike has been
care
called
workers,
off.
listen, the work that they do is just, you can't put a price on that sort of thing as well. And they take so much money off the government, a lot of this thing. So to think that they're talking about it is a 10%, they've met in the middle at 8%, and it took till 3 a.m. to get it sorted. Probably a positive.
At least the strike has been, I suppose, called off as well. So.
Now, the Irish Independent, Philip Ryan, has a story today about the increase of penalty points, but this is targeted in one specific area, and this is the bank holidays.
Yeah, bank holiday weekends. Well, I suppose, like, the road data, and the stats and the figures will show us. I mean, aside from the number of fatalities, unfortunately, in the roads this year, but the bank holiday weekends typically tend to report a higher number of fatalities. Like,
surprised to see these statistics.
For instance, it's about 46 fatal or serious injury collisions happened between the periods of February, June and the August bank holiday weekends alone in this year. Like 46. So
10,000 speeding detections
already
in those 3 periods.
It's pretty incredible. So the Roads Minister Jack Chambers is going to bring a memo basically to the cabinet today, and what he's looking for is that there'll be new legislation brought in to effectively hit motorists with increased levels of penalty points, specifically over bank holiday weekends for speeding and not wearing seatbelts. And obviously we're going to be coming in, to the October bank holiday weekend as well. And there's usually always a lot of, Garda campaigns and slow down messages as well from the Gardaí. But I think given the number of fatalities that have happened this year alone, like for instance, we'd 5 people died in separate road accidents across the country just this weekend alone, and there's been so much, I suppose, discussion about that and other incidents that have happened.
151 so far this year. Deaths.
Incredible
it's so
statistic.
sad. 35 more than this time last year.
So they're looking really at bringing in this change to the roads bill that would allow for increased penalty points.
Do we know how many or anything that they might do? No, they haven't.
No, that's still up for discussion.
For debate.
But it's I mean, it would obviously be quite a significant and a marked change,
There is something in this legislation as well, the proposals that are interesting. They want to include a change to intoxication testing results, whereby Gardaí would be required by law to test for drugs as well.
Yeah.
Not just drink, because we always focus on drink driving. And clearly there's something else going on, the guards think.
You usually tend to see now when the guards are doing those sort of checkpoints on the roads that it's either a drink driving checkpoint, that they're doing, or a drugs testing checkpoint. And I suppose they're trying to find an amalgamation or a combination, really, of them both.
And what do you make of this? Because obviously, so many people are on the roads, and it's been 35 people or more are dead this year,
lobbying,
this time from last year.
in this area would say, why just do it at bank holiday weekends? Why not bring it in all year round?
We'd love to know what you think about this. It's targeting specifically bank holiday weekends with increased penalty points. What do you think should be done?
They need to do something, because at the minute those numbers are really quite frightening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Andrea Gilligan, Lunchtime Live on News Talk. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Andrea, cheers. Still to come this hour, from moon phases to women's energy cycles. Andrea, this is one for you later on now. We're going to chat to a small business owner about their natural calendar wheels. Do you know you have a natural calendar wheel?
Wasn't aware.
Well, now you do.
Now you do. Plus, we're also going to get the latest on the Israel-Gaza conflict. That's coming up after the break. very welcome back. Now, as the conflict between Israel and Hamas continues, a catastrophic humanitarian crisis is unfolding in Gaza, with millions of people left without food, water and electricity.
Joining us now to discuss Gaza is Peter Power, Executive Director for UNICEF Ireland, and also here to give us an idea of what life is like in Israel as Irish expat in Jerusalem, Dara Lally. Thank you both so much for being here. Peter, I'm just going to start with you. You're in Amman, which is on the Jordanian border with Gaza. So can you tell us what the situation is like there right now?
Well, we're witnessing an unfolding humanitarian catastrophe, as we know, as we can all see on our screens. Many hundreds of thousands, approximately 1 million, but probably slightly less than that, people have now moved south from Gaza into the central and southern parts of Gaza. So we're talking about an already compressed area in highly compressed. All these people left without clothes, without food, obviously without shelter, and now they have nowhere to go. So this is a real dire crisis now. We have a lot of humanitarian supplies on the southern border, on the Egyptian Sinai border, at the Rafah crossing. We can't get that in, get access there. So we're looking at an impending catastrophe unfolding inside in Gaza now, even worse than what has happened up to now.
Really, it is quite frightening. The Taoiseach Varadkar said that there are 40 Irish people currently living in Gaza, mainly aid workers. Do you know, is there an update in terms of trying to evacuate these people?
What I do know, Tommy, is that there are intensive efforts behind the scenes across multiple countries. The Irish Department of Foreign Affairs, Minister for Foreign Affairs, Micheál Martin, the European Union, Egypt and other parties are working to get people out. But it is a complete, total blockade now. We thought that the Rafah crossing would open briefly yesterday to allow some people out with dual citizenship and potentially some supplies in, but that didn't happen. And we desperately need people to get out who want to get out, obviously, but we also really need to get in. Our biggest concern now, Tommy, is water. We've been supporting a water treatment plant just south of Gaza now, and we're extremely concerned that that will shut down. The people who are on the move inside in Gaza, they don't have water, they don't have access to water, sanitation or hygiene, and food is also increasingly an issue now. So I cannot say anything other than this is a dire situation.
Obviously, UNICEF, Peter, are on the ground in Gaza all the time because there's an ongoing humanitarian crisis there. But when it comes to trying to talk to Egypt to open that border, I know that Anthony Blinken was hoping that something was going to happen. The US Secretary of State, Joe Biden, is going to be flying in to try to do something there. Is there any chance, because it feels like Egypt doesn't want a whole load of refugees crossing their border, are people still working behind the scenes to try to do something to talk to the Egyptians to let people in?
You're absolutely correct. I mean, we have been here for many years, and you do build up contacts, you do build up networks with decision makers in government. We're an intergovernmental agency, so a lot of contacts are going on right at the border crossings, at government level, at official level. But I cannot put this more strongly, Muireann. The entire Gaza area is blockaded for people, but also for food, water, services, electricity. It's completely and utterly shut off. Nobody's getting in or out. And that remains the situation as I speak to you this morning from Amman in Jordan.
Do you know, what is it like on the ground, Peter? We know that so many people were asked to evacuate, 1 million people. I think it was 600,000 people left and moved. Like, what is the situation for those people? Where can they go? Is that even possible?
Well, in a word, no, Tommy. I was there 6 weeks ago to monitor the situation on the ground. I had a really good assessment of the humanitarian situation there. I described it at the time as being dire, particularly in relation to medical supplies. We're running short. Food, water, again, is a really big concern for us. As people are on the move, they need access to water. And the answer to your question is no, they don't have anywhere to move because you can't get out of Gaza. It's been often described as the biggest open prison in the world. so you can't get out. But increasingly, people have had to leave Gaza City in the north to escape the bombardment. So they left with nothing. It's a cliche, but the clothes on their back, and they don't have anything else. There's a few United Nations shelters and schools which UNICEF are supporting. People are staying there, but they're overwhelmed now. So people are sleeping literally out in the open, in the streets. Again, I have to repeat, without access to water, sanitation, or hygiene.
And those pictures are terrifying. But Dara, you're an Irish expat. You're living in Jerusalem, and it all started when Hamas did this attack and these rockets started firing. Where were you when that happened, Dara?
So I'm actually living in Tel Aviv, but right now I'm staying in Jerusalem with my husband's parents, who are helping with the kids while there is no school during the war. So where was I at the time? So what kind of got lost in the news over the past while is that it was actually a holiday weekend here in Israel. So if you can think of like St. Patrick's Day or New Year's Eve, something similar to that, a lot of people are out celebrating. That's why you're hearing about parties. My husband and I and friends were also at a party in the desert. Not the one that became the scene of a massacre, but like there, the music stopped. We had to figure out what was happening. The news started filtering through. We were actually trapped there for several hours because the buses wouldn't leave because roads were closed and it was very unclear what was happening. We got back to Tel Aviv. And that day was really horrific for everybody. Hearing the stories of what had happened, and of course there were the people who were directly involved. My brother-in-law's uncle lived in Kibbutz Kfar Aza. He went missing for 48 hours. Nobody heard from him. His name was Eli. He was 72. And it was eventually found that he had been killed amongst many of his friends and neighbors. The family still can't have a funeral for him because the official identification process still needs to take place. It's ongoing. There's hundreds of bodies, so it takes a long time. Many of the bodies have been charred or they're in a really bad state, so they're using DNA to do that. I have a friend who's involved in that effort, and just from him it sounds absolutely horrific. So everybody's still in shock. People have everybody knows somebody who's been called up to military service. Of the people who are not called up to military service, there's a massive volunteering effort to take care of the displaced families, because there are many survivors from those communities. They've moved north. Many of them are staying in Tel Aviv in hotels. So there's a huge effort around taking care of the kids, psychiatrists, doctors, bringing them toys, feeding them. It's the country has changed modes, and it's quite something to see. But yeah, people are still in the middle of this trauma. We think of it as, maybe if you're consuming foreign media, you might think of it as a week and a half ago, but many of these people don't even know what's happened to their relative. They don't know if they've been killed. They don't know if they've been taken hostage. These notifications are only coming through now, so many people are still very much in the middle of what's been happening.
Dara, how do you feel about all of this? Because obviously this has become an issue. We're seeing protests in cities around the world, like pro-Hamas, anti-Israel. There's so much going on. As an Irish fella living there, you're a father, you've got children. How do you feel about this situation? Obviously, no. Did you expect something like this to come from Hamas and that Israel would react in this way?
I've lived here for approximately 8 years, so I've lived through some of the flare-ups that have happened with Gaza in the past, but there's been nothing like this, and nobody expected something like this. It caught everybody off guard. It caught the authorities, the military off guard. So yeah, nobody expected something like this. It's come as a shock to everybody. Everybody who's living here is her sense of personal security has been affected. It's difficult to see some of these protests. There's a lot of people protesting, but they're not really giving solutions. Like I don't claim to have the answer to what to the big questions, but many people here would believe that while Hamas is in charge of Gaza, there isn't any chance of any sort of peace, and that Hamas's powers need to be removed in order for the people of Gaza to be free, because it's Hamas that is controlling their lives on a daily basis, and for Gaza to become something better, where people can be live happier lives, and where the government will invest in their welfare rather than in weapons and in tunnels.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
listen, who knows? We just hope that that we can find peace somehow in this as well. Listen, Dara, Nina, Lally, thank you so much for talking to us well, and hopefully yourself, your husband and 2 children and family over there are safe. And Peter Power from UNICEF Ireland, really appreciate you coming in, Peter, and hopefully the borders and that humanitarian support can make it into the country. Thank you.
Thank you both so much. Cheers. We'll be back with you on Ireland Day very shortly.
Now, our next guest is a small business owner behind handcrafted calendars, which aim to bring people closer to nature.
Here to tell us more about these alternative artworks is creator of Native Circles, Emily Archer. Good morning,
Good morning, Emily. How are you?
Sorry, now, what's a native circle?
So, native circles are a set of illustrations that I've done myself, and they all depict a different natural cycle, so a different cycle in the natural world. So there's 10 of them all together, so we have a lot to talk about.
Because there's one here that I was looking at, and it's all plants. It's it's all food.
Yeah.
And that's what's in season.
Yeah, so, it's very confusing these days. You go into the supermarket, you wouldn't know what's in season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just a cycle to show you.
To show what naturally is in season at the moment in this country, yeah.
So it just means that you can make the most of what's available. Usually you'll find what's most local and seasonal is healthier, cheaper. It's better for the planet, better for us.
So it's a bit like a calendar where you turn it over. You just turn it as the year goes along.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
How did you get involved in all this?
Yeah, well, it was, it's an artistic project. I came up with the idea. I wanted people to have a way to be able to connect with the cycles of nature more easily in their home.
It's beautiful.
Thank
it's
you.
absolutely beautiful. So what sort of... Tell us, you've got 10 here.
Yeah.
Tell us what they are.
Okay, so there, as you said, there's a seasonal food calendar here.
Yes.
Then we've got the Celtic tree calendar,
which is
our native trees and how
when they're in bloom and stuff like that, is it?
It's unclear. We don't really know the origin of why they were placed at different points in the year, but like the Ogham alphabet, the trees are very important to our Celtic ancestors. So there's different trees placed at different points in the year.
Okay.
Then we have the lunar phases. So that's maybe the most kind of obvious natural cycle that people will know about. It's like, we all can look up in the sky and see that the moon is changing shape and growing throughout the month and then goes back. So it's a really
like the harvest moon, the blue, like that sort of stuff.
And now
so we know then when we're going to have a full moon, exactly, things like that.
So you might go out and have a look at the moon and go, I'll go in and turn my circle and turn it round to the corresponding kind of phase of the moon.
Okay, Wheel of the Year.
So Wheel of the Year, that would be a very
Sounds
central
like a game show.
Oh, this is like, here we go.
Should be hosting.
Wheel of the Year.
Come on, spin it there.
Yeah, spin the wheel.
Would you know which way to point it up?
No. Well, let's see.
Yeah, there. So we're coming up to Samhain.
Oh,
so
Samhain, yes.
I think it's been talked about a bit on the show already.
Yeah.
I think Phoebe Forager was talking about it yesterday.
Yes, she was indeed.
Yeah, so Samhain is the time of the Celtic New Year. So it's really the start of the darker half of the year.
Yes.
Which, sounds a bit ominous, but actually in Celtic tradition, that's really where rebirth comes from. Is, everything starts in the dark.
I went straight to the ovulation one.
Yes, you're
there's
talking
one.
about-
There's one for the women's in their wombs.
Yes,
But surely
this one here.
that's... Every woman is different. So I don't understand this.
Yeah, well, that's good. You should get one because you should understand.
No, but I mean, do you know what I'm...
understand me.
No, but I mean, every woman is different. So how does that with
you're
your...
dead,
menstrual
you're dead
cycle.
right. You're dead right. But it's interesting because we're looking at outer cycles in nature, but also women and men. I think to a point, we all have an inner cycle as well, but women's maybe is slightly more obvious. So we all menstruate and ovulate and different points, and it's amazing how out of touch we can be with that.
So that's like a monthly. It'd be
Yeah,
like a monthly
this is a
thing.
monthly,
It's
and
a monthly one. that you turn.
Oh, okay. All right. I was going to
She'd be
say.
delighted if it was every 12 months you'd have to do it with.
but we all have different kind of superpowers and different energies at different points in our cycle.
This is a lovely one here. It's the rare birds of Ireland.
That's it, yeah.
So, and at different times, do we see these different birds at different times?
This is a little bit of a made-up one because I
okay.
kind of wanted just to highlight some of the rarer birds that are under threat in Ireland.
Oh.
And I just picked birds that are doing a certain thing at a certain time of year.
Yeah.
So at this time of year in October, the whooper swan is coming to overwinter in Ireland. It's just so, we have one of the best populations of whooper swans that overwinter here and up in Heaney country.
We need to get you and Aina and Ilona together.
Oh, I tell you,
What you could do.
she'd have a field day,
She would
wouldn't
be spinning that wheel of life like you wouldn't believe. So with all of these things, I know they're kind of all sustainable. And do you use them?
Yeah, I have
do?
them up in my home.
That's gorgeous.
Genuinely, discovering this idea of natural cycles has really changed the way I approach life,
Yeah.
Really giving yourself a chance to rest and a chance to be creative and a chance to reflect. It's lovely to emulate nature and to see how beneficial
Sure.
that can
I
be.
love this, and this is a lovely one, Vegetable Patch. And if anybody wants to know more, it's nativecirclesart.ie
That's it.
is where they can find you.
Yeah.
Really lovely pieces to have in your home. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Emily
Thank
Archer,
you.
thank you so much. Gorgeous,
Thank you.
gorgeous. Now, still to come this morning, we chat to an author who refuses to shy away from hard truths when it comes to beauty standards, ageism, and the effects of social media.
Plus, our very own karate kid, Deric, is getting a lesson in martial arts. Stay with us. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Hiya.
Hello, you're very welcome back to Ireland. In this hour, we are talking battling beauty standards and the best of Big Brother.
Do they go hand in hand? I don't know. We're going to chat to the author behind a new dystopian page turner, which looks at the pressures of unattainable beauty.
And a little bit later on, we are going to be chatting to some of our homegrown former Big Brother contestants about their experience on the show and what they make of the new season.
Indeed. And later on, we're going to be chatting to a trichologist about the causes and treatments for different forms of hair shedding. Is that hair loss?
I have no... Well, I expect to find out.
We will find out.
Must
For
be,
both
yeah.
men and women, I have a feeling. Yeah.
Now we've got some sweet treats in the kitchen this morning. Alan, what have we got look well to?
Wouldn't Catherine Layden be great in Big Brother?
She would be amazing.
Would you be... lads!
Can you imagine?
Sit down now, lads. Now, I want to tell you.
I'd have great crack.
You'd have great fun in Big
Be
Brother.
marrying and holding St. Joseph all over
yeah.
the place. Oh, God.
For God's sake, lads, now we'll have none of that.
No. Gas, no.
Tell us.
Today we're having a very, it's really death by chocolate, Alan. We're having chocolate fudge brownies. A kind of a fudgy centre, lots of chocolate in them.
Right.
So I'm cutting them rather small.
And is there loads of cream and
Oh,
ice
good
cream?
way with your cream and ice cream.
We haven't chocolate. So ice cream, Catherine.
Catherine, you can't... Will we go to
You
the
know
shop?
what? The chili.
And pick up the ice
The
cream.
woman does everything for
Look at
you.
this.
And you're like, hold on now.
Look
can
at
I
the fudge.
pour?
Oh, right, look at the fudge in that, yeah. Lovely.
no.
Tommy, wouldn't that be lovely with a bit of ice cream? though?
She's gonna...
We'll nip out to the
We're
shop.
having no control of these.
Are
lads,
you
no.
ready for a hard day in that kitchen today? You know what? I'll secret you out. We'll leave Alan Hughes there trying to cook a brownie and see what happens. Right.
Oh, go on.
Go on. Are you
Go
going
on.
to say something?
No, that's the
I'll move
intro
on.
to the cooking hasn't moved.
Would they be here? Come here.
Do you want to go up then, lads?
Come here. Will they be here when I come back?
Deric, where are you?
Where's Deric?
Yeah. Lads, I'm down here in Navan in County Meath. Niamh is with us here this morning. Niamh, what are we doing here this Tuesday?
We're delighted to have you here down here at Navan Kempo Karate Academy, Deric. We've just got the guys training a nice early session. We're getting ready for the competition in Rome.
In Rome later on this year, in October, later on in the month, in fact.
Yeah, the 24th, most of the guys leave, or the 26th
Okay,
to the 29th.
and you're going to be teaching a few moves later on this morning.
We're going to show you some moves, yeah.
Okay, I'll try my best. Guys, take a look at what we've got here. Off you go, Quiva. 1, 2, 3, and Alana, give us a split. Oh!
It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline, Higgins criticised reckless von der Leyen. President Michael D. Higgins has criticised the European Commission president's approach towards the Israel-Hamas conflict as thoughtless and reckless as national leaders convene an emergency meeting to take a grip on the European Union's discordant response.
Fears grow for Irish troops as Gaza crisis threatens to spread. That's the front page of the Irish Independent. The government is concerned for the safety of hundreds of Irish troops in the Middle East. Irish peacekeepers in Lebanon have been forced into groundhog mode, meaning they have taken shelter in bunkers during rocket attacks since Israel declared war following the Hamas attacks.
And the Sun leads with I lost 28 relatives in Gaza airstrikes. A heartbroken Irish woman has told how 28 members of her family, 10 of whom were children, have been killed in war-stricken Gaza as Israel prepares a ground assault in the region.
The Examiner leads with accused denies murder of Aisling. 33-year-old Joseph Puska has denied the murder of schoolteacher Aisling Murphy in County Offaly last year. The proceedings will get underway today with the opening speech from the prosecution. A jury of 3 women and 9 men have been sworn in to hear the trial.
The Star also leads with this story, I didn't murder Aisling. The trial, which jurors heard may last 5 weeks, will begin this morning in front of Mr. Justice Tony Hunt. Potential jurors were yesterday told by Justice Hunt not to sit on the case if they have previously engaged in social media commentary on it.
And finally, the Mayor similarly goes, with Aisling murder accused pleads not guilty.
The Herald's front page, I did not have sex with a schoolboy. A teacher accused of indecently assaulting a male student 38 years ago has told a jury she never had sexual relations of any kind with the child.
No bailout for health is a top story on the Daily Mail. Hopes that cuts to the Department of Health annual budget would be filled by the bailout were dashed last night when Cabinet Ministers disclosed that any additional monies would merely keep the lights on. Now, along with those stories this morning, we're also talking about penalty points, and particularly with the amount of road deaths we've seen this year, really is frightening. And there's a proposal to double or increase the points being given out during bank
holiday weekends,
because the number of deaths and speeding fines around that sort of time are huge. Shane's just sent in a message that they have double detriment. Demerit, close enough. Points in Australia around public holidays, double points and double fines usually come into effect at midnight Thursday on a bank holiday to Monday weekend. Works well in catching people, not sure how much it's prevented crashes and speeding, etc.
Never had a demerit in school in his life.
Demerit.
It's so good.
A demerit.
You remember demerits in school? Did you have them? A merit and a demerit?
Yeah, get a demerit. Vincent says, a very simple question, lads, about road deaths. Why are cars capable of doing excessive speeds on the roads, and why not fix every car with speed limiters? And we did talk to Geraldine Herbert about this before. That might help reduce speed causing so many accidents and deaths on our roads.
Still be driving 120 kilometres around back roads.
Which should we be talking about an autobahn system on motorways that if there's no road deaths there, we have an autobahn system like they have in Germany, and then in other areas, like you were talking about certain areas in Germany before, that you...
Well, outside schools, they have like a really strict, like a 20 kilometre an hour, like really low around high danger areas.
But they have that here as well.
If you get caught speeding there, you lose your licence.
Oh, you lose your licence?
Like there's a zero tolerance in certain areas.
Well, do you know what? If you knew that you were going to lose your licence in those areas, you would just automatically slow down. Like if you knew, if I'm caught here, my licence is gone, my livelihood could be gone.
Yeah. So do we need to take like a zero tolerance to this whenever we're seeing, or else, You know, that's the other thing. Whenever we're going to see double points, are they just going to be on motorways, trying to catch people on motorways where we're not?
Which is
seeing as many
ridiculous.
collisions?
I know, it's ridiculous. You see these speed cameras on motorways all the time, where they should be down the smaller roads.
Black spots. They know where accident black spots are.
Yeah.
That's where they should be. 0896 111. Obviously, there have been, at the same time of last year, there's been 35 more deaths on Irish roads this year in comparison to last year. So it is definitely a real issue. So we'd love to hear from you on that today. After the break, we're talking about social media obsession and beauty standards and a whole load of other things. We'll be back with you in a second.
Good morning. It is great to have you back. Now, our next guest is highly acclaimed in the world of young adult fiction and shows no signs stopping, recently releasing her 17th novel.
My head can't get around that author. Wow. Holly Bourne, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm very, very happy to be here. Well, virtually today, anyway.
It's lovely. I suppose when you say 17, and we do have, you know, people like Kathy Kelly and on Sinead Moore, they're on here and they're prolific. They do sort of a book a year. Do you have that sort of a pace for yourself?
Yeah, it tends to be. I was quite precocious. I started young. I started writing around 22 and I'm now 37. And I had a super precocious year in my mid-20s where I did 2 books a year. So that's sort of how I've reached 17 books. But I love writing so much. I don't know what I would do if I didn't do it. So I enjoy keeping up this pace.
37 books, 37 years of age and 17 books. That is pretty damn impressive. Your new book is called You Could Be So Pretty. Holly, tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, I bought a copy here today, and it's a book for teenagers, and it's written as a dystopian, exploring like beauty standards, porn culture, and a sort of normalised sexual violence against teenagers in education. But it kind of uses dystopic language and basically writing about the real world and what girls are experiencing and what our teenage girls are experiencing in real life. And I'm hoping by asking the question to my readers, are we living in a dystopia? It will really get them to think about the sort of strange things we're accepting as normal now and how worrying that is.
And the thing is, Holly, you did work before in a charity and you were a sex and relationship advisor, and young people will get in contact with you, and you have done a lot of research on this. So I don't want to scare people, but what were you hearing, and do we live in a dystopia for teenage girls?
It is, like, you know, I know it's not before, it's only 9, not even 9 in the morning, and it's talking about quite dark stuff. But yeah, I was a sex and relationship advisor, kind of answering young people's questions. And there would be stuff, you know, about I love my friend and I don't know how to tell them, and I'm scared that there's something wrong with my body. But it was almost always a rape crisis service. And I wasn't expecting that when I went into the job. And it really changed my view on the world and made me very sad. And the thing that I routinely saw was young girls, like really young girls, like 13, 14-year-olds, expected to have quite rough, quite degrading, quite violent sex with their boyfriends so that their boyfriends could like reenact pornography. And lots of the time they were being like coerced, bullied, harassed, and sort of sometimes downright forced to have this sex. And they were like really confused and overwhelmed by it. And it was just horrifying. And that's why, and as sort of, that was 5 years ago that I was doing that job. And as time's gone on, I think the pressures of porn, access to porn, the sort of porn that young people are watching is getting worse and worse and worse. So I just really wanted to write a book that kind of contextualizes that for young people and kind of gives them like a safe framework to be like, it's okay to not want this sort of thing, and it's okay to want to take your time or to say no to these things. And yeah, to kind of say, I think we're living in a dystopia for what the sexual standards are expected of our young people. And I think a book is hopefully a really safe antidote to what they're seeing online and what they're witnessing, sadly, in their romantic lives.
Yeah, the dystopia to the sexual side of it, but also to the beauty standards you talk about as well, because you have 2 characters in the book as well. One who tries to really adhere to all these social media pressures that we hear and see about all the time, and then the other who just distance themselves completely from that. I'm sure it was really interesting just to try and have those two conflicting views and see the impact it had on both of them.
Yeah, I think when you talk about beauty standards in feminism, I think it's really easy to fall into this thing where you silence all women, because women who do wear lipstick or have Botox or boob jobs and, you know, played a role of what a woman's supposed to look like, if they talk about feminism, you'll be like, oh, you know, you're not really a feminist because you play by these rules. And then I think on the other side, there's you're like the ones who completely reject that. And it's like, well, of course you're a feminist. You're so ugly. You know, you just must be really angry and bitter. And it's like it's this way of just and it's like, oh, hang on, we can't win, and it's dividing us. And I think, with Belle and Joni in the book, one's a pretty, one's an objectionable. They learn from each other, and they learn to kind of that there's huge benefits to adhering to beauty standards, and society rewards it, although it's exhausting and it's draining and it's expensive and it doesn't work anyway because you still feel ugly. And then there's benefits to rejecting things and being free, but there's consequences on both sides. And just I wanted to kind of, show how it's this no-win situation and get to the point where I just don't think we see girls and women's normal faces, like our raw faces in the morning without a filter, without makeup, without airbrushing. It's so rare to see that now. We've therefore see this face in the mirror going, ugh, because all the other faces that we're consuming are altered either through makeup or digitally. And again, I think that's dystopic, that we just don't see faces anymore.
And you do something that's really interesting in the book that I quite like, and it's your use of language to do stuff like that. So body prayers are actually what you call workouts, and masks is what you call makeup, and sins are calories. It really does, it is like a brick to the head. You're making a point with all of this.
Yeah, it's as I said, when I pitched it to my publisher, I was like, contemporary written as dystopian, so I was just trying to find dystopic language, and it was scary how I didn't have to look far. Like the sins for food, that's what Slimming World uses. That's their actual words. If you join Slimming World, they give you a sin count for food, and it's just like, what are we telling people that like what you need to consume to live? Like a human body needs food to live. We're like saying that's, a religious transgression to eat. It's like, again, you don't have to look far in the real world to be like, I think we're in dystopia here. And masks for makeup and smut for porn. And it was really creatively challenging and fun to find these word replacements that will hopefully make teenagers think, oh yeah, hang on. The world is a bit dark. No wonder I feel a bit ugly and scared all the time. But hopefully the book is also about hope and uniting and fighting and empowerment and education. And, my book's always quite dark, but also quite funny and all about just how like female friendship kind of can get us through a lot of dark places.
Absolutely, I know.
Female friendship will get you through, Tommy.
I can't believe this. All the work, everything that goes in, like a 17th book, Holly. You're an absolute machine, and the level of detail and everything that goes into it, it really is quite incredible. Holly Bourne, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.
Thank you. Have a great day.
And your new book, of course, it is You Could Be So Pretty. Congratulations with that.
Thanks so much, Holly.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
You're very welcome back. Now we've got a classic treat for you in the kitchen this Tuesday morning.
We certainly have. Katrin Layden is here to make us some delicious chocolate fudge brownies.
Exactly. Now,
you, Katrin?
And grand. Now, before we came here, I melted in a bowl here over a saucepan of hot water 200 grams of good quality chocolate and 4 ounces of butter.
Does it have to be good quality chocolate?
It does, yeah. Do you know the difference in the taste afterwards? Now, generally, I would do this all in one, right? But I have 4 mixers at home, and I couldn't find the beaters for any of them last night. So I've done it in that, and then moved it into this, right? Now,
Old school.
Old school is right.
Like the mixer.
Now, to this, I'm adding the 150 grams, that's 5 ounces of regular granulated sugar, and 50 grams, 2 ounces of light muscovado sugar. So we just combine those together, and the sugar will dissolve fairly quickly at this stage because the chocolate is hot. Okay?
All right, yeah.
Now, as that's mixing, we're going to add 1 egg at a time. So there's 3 eggs in this. So it's quite a rich mixture. 1, 2, and 3.
Why'd you do it at one at a time?
Just tip it in. It makes it easier.
All right, okay.
It binds a lot better quicker. Now,
What did you ever do before you had mixers like that? It'd be just
bloody elbow grease.
elbow grease doing it.
The perspiration dripping off you.
Add the flavour
Now,
to it.
to that we're going to add just a teaspoonful of vanilla essence or vanilla extract.
Right.
So that's 2 capfuls.
This one's got nuts in it now, Catherine.
No, it hasn't.
Nuts.
It hasn't.
No.
It does.
It does. No. Do you know what that is?
What are they then?
Chocolate chips.
Ah.
White.
chocolate
I have a
chips.
combination
I'm
of
gonna have
white.
another one.
White.
They are actually, yes.
Yeah.
The chocolate chips.
Because you see brownies sometimes that have nuts in them, don't you?
Don't like the brownies.
Yeah,
No, I
don't either.
prefer them just really chocolatey.
Yeah.
Now, into that, we're going to put our... What I have here is 150 grams of plain flour and 2 tablespoonfuls of cocoa. Now, you don't have to sieve the flour, but I generally sieve the flour and the cocoa together. They must be sieved because cocoa is prone to lumping.
Okay. Right, okay.
So now, that done...
So basically everything just goes into this mixing bowl?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right.
Nice and easy.
Nice and easy. We'll take that off now. And we're going to
And would you...
fold in the flour.
Yeah.
So you don't do the actual, you actually take it off now and fold this neatly?
Exactly.
Right.
And you see, by beating the sugar into the hot chocolate and then the eggs, the mixture is cool enough so the eggs won't curdle or par cook or scramble. Now, we fold it in the
I'd
flour.
say this is one of my favourite
Is it?
desserts.
I'm the same.
Because,
I love
like
it.
a warm chocolate brownie with ice cream.
Yeah. Excuse me now, please. I have a surprise for you. Here we have a packet, 100
Did you go to
grams.
the shop?
Ha
You got an ice cream for us?
ha, surprise, surprise. Now, here's the tin. Now make
I'm
sure
going to
that...
stop eating then.
You're going to wait?
Have you not got room for another one, Tommy?
Oh, it was actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, don't be so stupid. Well, I'm on my second one. You're
already
already
had
on your... Oh, you've already had some.
Yes, Maroon.
So this goes into...
Square tin,
Right.
Right.
right? Now, the mixture is quite heavy at this
I was
stage.
going to say, does it get very messy?
No, it doesn't get too messy. It's just the bowl is quite heavy. To be honest, Alan.
How long does that go in for now? Does that have to be cooked for a good while?
130 degrees, so it's quite a cool oven.
Is there a reason why that's such a deep dish?
Which one?
The one
Yes,
that
to
you
allow it
poured
to rise.
into?
To
'Cause
allow
you
it to
do-
rise, Tommy, without burning around the edges, because there is a lot of sugar in it.
'Cause
right?
you can put them in like a thinner, like a
A small, narrow tin you can.
yeah.
But into the square tin and line the sides. I think I've done as best I can there. What do you think?
Ah, yeah,
I don't
sure.
think I have a tin that like that shape.
You better go to the...
So I should go get one of those as
should.
opposed to one of the smaller ones.
Now, could that be easier?
Okay, right, there you go now.
Now, we're going to have a hot one coming out for you.
Oh,
here.
I hear. Get rid of them. Take them away. Hot one.
What are they like?
Get you another plate, will I?
Yeah. Get it under our cupboard. We've a little cupboard underneath
gee.
here. There, Tommy disappears in every day. Come on. There.
What
What have we got?
Some Weetabix.
What did we find? Come here, give me over the plate.
Oh, Tommy, look at this. Have you got?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There, Catherine.
Hot one.
Hot
So
one.
how long was that, Sarah? Well, how long was that? in the
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Until it's kind of crispy on top and soft in the centre. Now, what ho have I got here?
Oh, ice cream. Where'd you get that?
Why is it in the sink?
That was hiding in the sink from you.
We've
Give
got
me this.
Our sink makes ice cream. Did you not know?
Now,
What have we got in there?
full of surprises, Tommy.
So, Catherine, 40 minutes.
40 minutes. Then you normally leave it sit in the tin.
Oh, yeah, but you're not, because we wanted it
You
hot.
want to eat it.
Is that just gorgeous, delicious now?
That nice, Tommy?
That's my favourite, Catherine. Thank you.
Now, love.
Oh,
What kind of ice cream is that?
Vanilla. Fussy.
I don't know where did you find
Hasn't
it?
got a clue. Where did you find
Hold
the
on.
ice cream?
Vanilla ice cream. What else?
maybe a fruit crunchy nut over top of it.
Surprise, surprise.
Catherine, it's absolutely
surprise.
delicious.
So,
Thank you very much.
enjoy.
And that is quite easy to make then, Catherine.
Very simple.
Everything is in the
everything,
one,
yeah.
the one
The only thing that takes time is melting the chocolate in the bowl. Now, make sure the bowl doesn't touch the water. That's touching the water, but it's better just barely, excuse me, just barely above the water when it's simmering.
And
Don't
if it
melt it
touches
too
the
quickly.
water, what happens?
Excuse me. You can overcook the chocolate.
Oh, really?
So it's better just the heat from the water.
Are you all right now? You in your element here. Look at him.
Are you enjoying that?
Love it.
Good.
You're very good. Thank you for
My
getting
pleasure,
out.
all.
Always, Catherine, a pleasure having you in the
thank you
kitchen
very
with us.
much.
What are you cooking next for us?
Don't know yet. We'll have to think
No,
about it.
be Halloween. A brack. You have to come in to do as our brack.
Let's do now a brack for you.
Yeah.
Well,
Nice Halloween brack.
do you like
for
brack,
Halloween.
Tommy? You do?
Yeah. Oh, we do.
Anything you make, Catherine.
Anything you make, Catherine. You're our favourite.
Oh, thank you. Do you hear the plum
You put up some rubbish from him.
Does he?
I say that to Edward. We
Oh,
say
yeah.
it, and then we say it to everyone. No, we don't. We only say it to you.
Oh,
you,
thank
Catherine.
you.
Now, after
My
the
pleasure.
break, Deric suits up for an ultimate karate lesson. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Thanks for staying with us. Now, all morning, Deric's been practicing his...
Oh, good timing.
his karate skills.
They have been dying to do that, clearly. I feel so loved. Thanks, guys. Thanks.
Now, Deric, have you worked out the art of wax on, wax off?
Well, wax on, wax off. We're doing our best, guys. Welcome down here to O'Mahony's GA Club. Navan and County Meath is where we're at this morning, talking about Kempo Karate. Neve Byrne, I've never heard of Kempo Karate. What is it?
Yeah, it was developed in America. It's an American martial arts developed by Ed Parker. It's basically a modernised version of karate to be more practical in a self-defence street situation.
Now, you've been taking part in karate lessons since you were a wee nipper 27 years ago.
Yeah, when I was 4 years old, yeah. My dad got me into it. He's a 5th degree black belt, and I'm one of 3 girls, so he told us that we had to learn how to defend ourselves, and that was the rule in our house. And then I kind of really fell in love with the art, and yeah, kind of came more than just learning how to defend myself, and I got good friends and started competing, and yeah, just started teaching and really enjoyed it. So.
And speaking of competing then, you went on to compete at international level.
I did, yeah. I've competed in international competitions and national competitions, yeah.
And 2018 was a big year for you.
Yeah, I won double grand champion in women's forms and fighting, and yeah,
Gold
grand
medal.
champion for forms. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's good. Good
Now,
year.
what I noticed here this morning, and we've got great shots on air as well, there's a lovely split, there's a lovely mix of boys and girls.
There is, yeah. It probably was a male-dominated sport, but over the years, definitely seen a big influx of girls, which is great because never have too many girls in the sport. The club itself seemed to attract a lot of girls, maybe a female instructor.
Yeah, that certainly helps, doesn't it?
So it's good. We have a good group of teenagers and teenage girls training, which is great because it's brilliant for ladies and women to know how to defend themselves in today's world. So.
And what I noticed here this morning as well, Neve, like we're talking about discipline, there's great discipline here as well with the kids.
There is, yeah. No, it really instills respect for not only the instructor but for their peers and everyone in society really, and instills discipline. They know how to train hard and work hard, and the main really good thing also, it's great for their confidence and development, so it really pushes kids to become confident young adults, so it's great.
Now, the European Championships, we're heading off to Rome pretty soon, off to Italy.
Yes, yeah, nice one to get. So we have a team of about 14 kids competing and 1 senior adult travelling. So we leave on the 26th till the 29th. So yeah, no, it's great.
And in terms of funding then, where are you getting that from?
We were very, very lucky this year. We got a good bit of funding from LMC Siteworks and Sofa So Good. So that was we were really fortunate. So helped out with all the gear and getting the kids there. So.
But you certainly won't be sitting on your bums this weekend.
No, we won't. We won't, definitely not.
No, you won't be on any sofas, because this morning, in fact, you're going to demo 3 techniques with 3 of our students here this morning.
Yeah, we are. We have Kate Murphy's going to come out. So basically, the first one we're going to show you is against lapel grab. The main kind of danger here is that punch coming in. So you're going to counter the grab, you're going to move off, you're going to cancel that punch, back knuckle the ribs, block it down and chop to the neck.
Okay, so we're going to fast forward that one now.
Yeah.
There's some speed in it, isn't there?
There is, yeah. It's effective striking at a fast pace, so. Yeah,
at a fast pace. Okay, technique number 2, what have we got?
We've got Luca here, and he's going to thrusting salute. You're going to step off, offline of the kick, land with opposing motions.
Up then. Oh!
He was very...
That looks sore, right? And finally, we've got our third one here with Rebecca.
Yeah, Rebecca's going to step through the right punch. I'm going to cancel that right punch. Forward bow punch to the ribs, grab the arm, pull her onto that roundhouse kick, check the knee, and punch to the kidneys.
Okay, so fast forward that one. Wow. That is incredible, isn't it? And like, you're talking about speed, and then you're talking about technique, and then you're talking about discipline. So it's all those elements combined to make it such in fact, probably a beautiful sport to watch as well.
It is, yeah. No, it's a great sport. It's got all the elements. It's got the techniques. It's got forms, which are a sequence of techniques done in a fluid motion. And kind of the idea behind it is to perfect your techniques, and then we have the sparring as well, so they learn how to fight in a combat situation as well.
And as you mentioned, it's for all ages, all abilities. You've got your own daughter Quiva here as well.
I do, yeah. So we start them from 4 years of age right up through to adults, and it's a really good sport because it can be tailored to individual needs, and it kind of evolves. You work on your strengths and weaknesses. It doesn't have to be a set rule for one person. You make it work tailored to you as a practitioner. So
okay, where can we find out more online then?
Yeah, we have a Facebook account, Nav and Kempo Karate Academy, and if you hit my email or Instagram as well, it's Nav and Kempo.
We can look you up online.
You can, yeah.
I get mashed to bits into the mat. So before we let you go, guys, back a bit, we're going to demo just a little quick one.
Yeah.
So we practiced this a little bit later earlier on, right?
Yeah.
So here we go. 1, kick in the crotch, and then chop.
Yeah.
There we go. Hiya! Come here. Thank you so much for joining us. Kempo Karate. Best of luck in the European Championships over in Rome, in Italy. You're bringing 14 kids, right?
14 kids.
So fingers crossed, and hopefully you bring home gold. Bring home some medals. All right, there you have it, guys. For everyone here, Navan County Meath, back to you in studio. Right, here we go. Hiya!
Love it. And do you know what? Isn't it?
Do I get to kick you in the crotch as a part of work? Is that what happens? That's
You just see the girl kicking two people in the back and stuff.
But isn't it great, the little kids? Just see them earlier on. I love that they're getting involved in that.
But I just think even for women to feel safe and all, to be able to some of that is amazing. Like, see the girl taking on 2 people there. It's crazy.
Well, I'm allowed to use. So I have to learn. Can I learn these moves and then use them against you?
Go for it.
We should follow them now at the Europeans, see how they do.
Europeans, best of luck. Fair play.
Best of luck to them.
Very best of luck to that. Thank you very much, Deric. He was really getting into it, wasn't he? Now, still to come this morning, we're going to be chatting to the best of Big Brother with some of the show's former contestants.
Plus, we'll have the latest and popular prints on the catwalk.
And we're talking hair shedding, Claire. Claire Pauling's here, and why it happens and how you treat it. We'll see you back here in just a few minutes.
Thank you.
Hello, welcome back to the final hour of Ireland AM, and you know what? We've still got lots more to come.
Sure do, coming up very shortly. Former Big Brother contestants Ray, Shah and Hughie Munn are going to be with us to talk fiery feuds, risky romances and life after Big Brother.
Yes, trichologist Claire Fulham will be joining us to talk hair care, specifically hair shedding. So I'm used to hair loss. Claire, what's hair shedding, what's hair loss? There's a difference.
There is a difference, yeah. Hair shedding's a little bit more temporary, please God, but we've loads of stuff here to help you and to kind of try and recognise the signs of both.
Brilliant. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much, Claire.
Need that. And we've also got all you need to keep your wardrobe well stocked. Alan is on the catwalk. Tell us more.
Yes, indeed. Mandy Maher joins us now. This season's trends, what are they, Mandy?
So this season's trend is all about bold print, and we're going to see a massive amount of it for 2023. Lots of different prints actually this morning for you as well, so keep an eye on that.
Like this skirt
exactly
here.
Like this skirt with the leaf print. I'm loving it. I've got really beautiful bits to show you this morning, but in particular love love this skirt, love the colours in it, very autumn.
Do you find some women might shy away from big bold prints like that?
Absolutely will, but I'm going to give a couple of styling tips as well on that.
Okay, looking forward to that. That's coming up a little later on. And Deric's been knocking us off our feet all morning with his karate kicks. How are you getting on, Deric?
Yes, guys, Kempo Karate is where we're at this morning. We were talking about all ages and all abilities. It's perfect for everyone, really, isn't it?
It really is. It's a great sport to be able to tailor to individual needs and work on their strengths.
Yes, and Lucy, how long are you doing karate? 4, 7,
9 years.
9 years. And you're heading off to Italy?
Yeah.
And you're looking forward to it?
Yeah.
Good girl. You're going to demo a quick technique there. Show us there very quickly.
Yeah, I'm going to grab
Niamh.
Lucy in an attempted headlock.
Look at this, guys. Oh, yes. Hopefully goal for Ireland, yeah?
Yeah.
Good girl. All right, guys. More from here in Navan and County Meath a little bit later on, but for now, back to you in the studio. Hi.
Hello there, you're very welcome back. Now, earlier on we were talking about speeding, the increase in penalty points around bank holidays, and we have a lot of text messages in around it as well. We were talking about in Germany how, obviously, they have the autobahn system over there, but they're very strict in certain areas, particularly around schools.
And we got text in earlier on about in Australia, they get double the points at bank holiday weekend. Starts at the midnight on Thursday and ends on the Sunday at midnight. So,
and would it be something to do in Ireland? Because to be fair, the road deaths and the crashes that we're seeing around the country at the minute, we need to do something to try and slow people down.
Yeah, Orla said, I was in Norway this summer and a tour guide told me that it was a €1,000 on-the-spot fine if you went over the speed limit, if you exceeded the speed limit. 10% was taken from your wages. Nobody speeds in Norway.
$1,000 on the spot.
On the spot.
Imagine that. It's like, oh,
and if you keep doing it, then money is taken from your wages.
You wouldn't be speeding as well if it's snow on the ground either, would you?
Well, I'm sure it's not snowing all the time in Norway, Myron.
In my head, it snows all the time in Norway. It's
always, a beautiful, lovely, snowy country.
It's always near where Santa lives, so it's always snowing in my head. Maureen, would it not make sense to remove the licence of those caught speeding? First offence, 6 months. Second offence, 1 year. Then, if caught a third time, the licence is never to be given back. The possibility of losing your licence for 6 months in the first instance should be enough of a deterrent.
Yeah, I don't think the penalty points here is enough of a deterrent.
It is, Al.
No, but if you know that your licence is going to be taken from you,
yeah.
But then what if you're someone who's like speeding to a hospital? You know what I mean? Like there's going to be reasons.
Surely there's. I know.
But if you have these blanket bans and no one's allowed to use their cop on, then what are you going to do?
Well, if you're stopped and you're speeding to a hospital because somebody's very
talking about, Al? Like. Sorry.
Okay.
No, I think that it is true. A bit of zero tolerance policy might be the way forward. But yeah, points I do think are a disaster too. Anyway, bank holidays. It looks like they're going to be bringing in double the point system.
That's what he does to me all the time. Okay.
Alan's talking some rubbish this morning. I tell you.
Anyway, you're with Ireland Day. Are you okay?
I'm sort of all right.
Are you all right?
I think Tommy's on another planet, but that's all right. After the break, we're going to be chatting to former Big Brother contestants Yui Mon and Ray Shah. We'll give you the whole scoop on how they survived inside the house. We'll see you in a few minutes. Now, thanks for staying with us.
We have to play the music. It's been just over a week since Big Brother returned to our screens, and we couldn't let the occasion pass without honouring some of the great Irish housemates that have appeared on the iconic show.
Yes, before we chat to Ray Shah and Yui Mon, here's a reminder of how they won the hearts of a nation.
I am just here to have a bit of fun.
How's it going, Ray?
I am trouble.
Oh my God!
Ray, please can you bring the ball back?
Vandalism. That is a harsh word.
There's someone in who's hung.
3P draws, 44. I suppose when I look back at it, I just reflect and go, it was like the best time of my life.
Come on, yeah!
It's Huey.
I find him adorable.
Going on? An interesting guy. He seems quite sharp.
I think I have malaria.
He's hilarious.
He's just so cute.
He can be like an overzealous 3-year-old.
He's obviously got strong opinions.
I'm sick of him.
I would be scared to get on the wrong side of him.
Shut up! I
I'm the best person in this house. Open the door.
It just gets better, doesn't it?
That's how he walked into the studio. Open this door.
I'm the best person here.
That's it.
The memories. Oh my God.
It is so lovely to have you both here. And we're all just saying, Ray, you were 25 years old. That was 2003. You look the exact same.
Oh, well, thank you. Good genes.
Doesn't you look the exact same?
You look the exact same.
You look the exact same too. You do. Did you? Because in 2003 we were starting to understand the reality format. Our brains were starting to get a little bit conditioned, going, okay, so this is what's going on. Whereas the first two series, we were like, what is this? How did you feel about going in at such a young age and what it did for your life?
I suppose at the time for me, I was bored with what I was doing in life. I was working in computers and I wanted to change. And I was thinking about going off to Australia for the year, doing the usual thing as you would do at that age. And I was living in London at the time and I said, I might as well go for the show because I was a huge fan of the show. Never thinking in a million years you get picked though. But it was a great experience.
And then what was it like in the house? Because in those days, like, after years later, people knew, but that was like the beginning of it, and people weren't sure. So, what was it like to be in the house?
You know, the year beforehand, we had Jade, and she came under a lot of, you know, the spotlight when it came to the press. Like, so you had that kind of worry that, you know, did you want to be that type of housemate where your family were going to be, you know, harassed by the press and stuff like that? So that was always playing on your mind. But when you first go down the stairs, you know there are a couple of million people watching you at that very moment, and it's a very, very, very surreal moment.
I can't even imagine like having that sort of an understanding. And Huey, you were even younger. You were 21.
Yeah, 21.
In 2016 when you went in.
Yeah.
What was that? And you were certainly yourself inside in the house. You made a
I can see
big
that.
impression.
Yeah.
You made a big impression. So what was your impetus? What was you going, I want to go into Big Brother?
So I came out to my family just a few months before it. And going into 2016, I thought to myself, this year I'm going to do things that I would like to do just for me. Like growing up in the travelling community, I kind of never felt like I could be my own individual. So it was just that, and even like not as dramatic as that. I just loved the show, and I, again, like you're saying, I like about going to Australia. Like it was like doing like something as a young person that you can remember, and it was kind of like how you would have like a gap year. I just done it on like a TV show.
Massive.
I do things normal, don't I?
Yeah,
but,
sure.
It was a great experience, and I don't know, maybe I just thought it'd be really fun. It was.
Because when you were on the show, like you said, your parents knew about your sexuality, but then you actually told the housemates. And when you were telling the housemates, you were telling everybody.
Yeah, millions of people. It's bizarre. Like even like in your day, it was even more like millions of people like back then. But it's so bizarre to even think like you're living in this house, but you do forget there's cameras there. Like it just does become your own home. At least it did for me, anyways.
I don't think you forget that. For me, I don't think you forget the cameras are there. They just become part of your life as such. Like so. But then again, you can't be chatting away to someone talking about something that you weren't intending on talking about, and next thing a camera moves, you're like, oh God, you know, you kind of think, oh yeah, maybe,
you get sucked into a conversation.
I think you're aware that the cameras are there.
And what was it like then for you? Was there any hesitation about you talking about coming out on the show?
Never. Like I'd lived my whole entire life and lived like a version of myself, so there was never in a million years would I have ever even gone into that show if I couldn't wholeheartedly be myself.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very like outspoken person, very much myself, that whether I'm on Big Brother or not, or any TV show I've done since, I'm always me. It's the same person off camera. I know like the editing, so it looks more dramatic, but it's still me if you're living with me on the show.
But it was something, I suppose, as someone in the travelling community, and you've spoken a lot about this.
Yeah.
Who was like, I decided to come out in the biggest way you can possibly come out.
Yeah, I know it's really dramatic to say that I came out on Big Brother.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I just think for me, growing up watching shows like Big Fat Gypsy Weddings and all these shows that I think was such a bad representation of the travelling community, and a lot of people who was on these shows never really were themselves. They were very aware of the camera. Like I know people who's been on the show because of what other travellers would think of them. That I could never in a million years have gone on that show unless it was just me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, just be my own person.
And doing a lot for people.
Doing a lot for people, and you certainly did. And I suppose The one thing about Big Brother that we can say over the years, it never shied away from people like Nadia and even Hallie now as a trans person in the show.
Nadia was in it years ago.
Yeah, like there's a saying.
After myself.
So they've never shied away from that. But Hallie now, at such a young age, to go in and be open about her trans experience.
Like in 2004, for a show to have a transgender person, I'm sure most people in society never even really had that conversation at that time. It's something you only see with huge celebrities since around like Caitlyn Jenner, 2015. Do you know what I mean? So like it's always been a show that showed a lot of sides of society and...
I think this is Nadia when she is telling. We're going to have a listen. Or Hallie, sorry.
I just thought I'd make that loud and clear. So yeah, I'm a trans woman, if you didn't know. Just wanted to bring that up.
Good for you. Thank you for sharing. Celebrate you.
Ooh. Oh, that's very... Oh, brave of you.
But I think this is the reason why Big Brother is so big and why it's so popular, because they're real people. These are people that are in the outside world as such, and it kind of hits every single demographic, and people can relate to those people. And that's what, when some of these housemates do well, you kind of imagine, will I go for a drink with that person?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the reason why it is so popular.
Because it is, like, as you said, Nadia, years ago when she was in there as a
Brian Dowling, second series.
Well, we have to say Brian Dowling, like, won the show, Ultimate Big Brother winner, and then went on to present 5 series of the show. So probably
they wouldn't get up this morning to say hello to us, obviously.
Thanks, Brian is the most exciting. and then, of course, we have to Anna Nolan as well, who was huge in it. Like, you know.
And she used to be a nun, didn't she?
Yeah.
Transition, like, not huge nun.
Are you surprised there's no Irish person in it this year? Considering you've always done fairly well.
Saying, like, listen, I you know, there's still time for them to bring in new housemates, and I think that they will eventually bring in someone. I know they read some paper, some article recently. They were saying they were going to bring in some former housemates into the series.
Well, there's always talk about that.
Yeah, it was one person in particular that said it to the next thing it's been exploded. Like, all these people are going to come back up, but it's too early.
So, guys, between you, like Ray, let's start. Was there any standout moments for you?
Yeah, I think, it's a long time, but I think when we won the reward room and we had the Irish pub, it opened up at 10 o'clock in the morning and stayed up until 12 o'clock at night.
No.
We had
Were you allowed to drink all day?
We were allowed to drink all day, yeah.
Well,
when the pub was open.
Yours,
we had a Big Brother South Africa swap as well.
Each.
Because
they'd have to control
I
it
think,
at that
Ray,
stage.
there's a lot of people will remember your standout moment. Your duvet moment.
What's duvet gig?
What's the duvet moment?
What was duvet gig?
Tell Hughie what duvet.
You know what it is, do you?
What is it?
Well, I had one too many drinks and I took things into my own hands, let's just say.
I'll be Googling that when I get home.
I'm dreading to hear when my 7-year-old daughter in a couple of years' time, when some people start saying to her, ask Ray about the duvet.
Do people still say it to you?
Yeah, they do.
Well, we just did.
Yeah,
we just did.
But if you're going to be remembered for something, it might as well be something.
Was that the same day as the Irish pub?
No, I think it was two.
Excuse of the Irish pub fans.
But this is what's interesting, because you're reflecting on times like you've got a 7-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And you were on telly in 2003 for 3 months.
Yeah. And it's only now because, a few people have said it to her, and a teacher actually says, oh, your dad was on Big Brother. And it's only now because it's on the TV now, she's actually finally understood what the programme is now. I'm saying that she only watched the launch night. She hasn't watched it since because it's a bit too late. But yeah, it's opening up a new fan base.
And how much of your series, sorry for interrupting, I just want to ask, because in 2003 there wasn't really internet, is it very Googleable? Not because I want to see the duvet more.
Oh, yes, you do.
That moment used to be on YouTube, but it's been taken down.
I'll find it. No, I mean, for your daughter, is there a lot to see?
There would be. Sure, look, we found those clips
the whole
there.
Series,
there is a clip.
Someone actually has downloaded them all and put them onto YouTube. So every single series from...
I'll be
scanning through them.
There we go. They'd be scanning through. And you, of course, you found love in the house.
We're not together now, but
I
we're
mean,
together for a few years.
Yeah, at the time.
It can happen for sure. Like, as I said, I was completely myself in the show. That was claimed to be a showman's, by the way. I mean, I carried it on for 4 years. It was a long showman's, wasn't it? So anything can happen, I suppose, in there. One day in Big Brother is literally like a week or more in the real world, because you're 24/7 with people. Even in the real world, when do you sit down and don't have a phone, don't have TV, don't even have a newspaper? You're not even allowed pens. You're not allowed to You don't have sewing needs. There's not allowed anything at all whatsoever in the house. So you're literally just like this constantly. So you get to know people well.
And how is it coming back into the real world?
It was very strange. Because obviously you're walking down the street, everyone knows your name. It was strange because I know when I was chatting about this earlier that you know, all my friends from Ireland came over and we had a big party on the Saturday night, and it was great. Went back to the house where I was living at the time, and I literally broke down in tears in the kitchen because I missed the house, I missed the housemates, I missed that, I suppose, that safety net I had for the couple of weeks. Now, I got to see a psychologist a couple of days later, and he said that it's like being institutionalised. You were in there for a couple of weeks. Yeah. And it took a bit. Like I would have liked probably to see him a few more times over the year.
Which probably now you could have.
You could do now, and they need it now. They definitely need it now compared to when I did.
I always say to people when they ask me, and I don't know if this is a silly comparison, but I think it makes sense. Do you remember when we all went into lockdown, there was COVID, and the world felt so strange? And a lot of people, as much as they wanted out of that because it wasn't I suppose, a positive way to live. A lot of people struggled coming out of lockdown. And they almost wanted to go back into it. That's how them shows feel.
That's exactly what it felt like. Honestly.
Did you feel that you had with Ryan, that when you were coming out, you had a bit of support there?
Maybe in some ways, if I look back at that relationship now, we probably, I know I probably did cling on to him a bit because you want something from the house with you at all times. You even see it with the celebrity series, like the Loose Women. I've often seen them doing their interviews with each other afterwards. And as much as it was so dramatic, they wanted to go back in. It's weird how the human brain gets so what's that called? That word, like you adapt. You adapt so quickly to an environment.
You put that so well. It's amazing to think of it in that way. Very, very intense as well. A way to live. Risha and Hughie Mon, as always.
Thank you so much.
Honestly, thanks so much for coming in. It's all about popping prints of the catwalk this morning.
It certainly is, and our favourite fashionista. Oh, all our favourites are in today. Oh, Catherine's in, Mandy here.
I was feeling a little bit jealous and left out, actually.
She's going for it.
Mandy's here. Tell us, Mandy, what are we looking at today?
Well, this morning, we're looking at all about, it's bold print. Print is making a massive statement this season, and it's really about different types of prints that are actually out there and on trend.
Okay, let's take our first look. Mary is with look number 1 this morning.
So for our first look, we're heading to GM Boutique, which is in Clare, Galway in County Galway, and for the first time this morning. But I actually love this because it's probably my own, very much what I would wear myself because of the camel.
Just the coat is you,
isn't it?
Yeah.
Is it a coat though?
It actually is. It's a coat. It's a coat with no sleeves, as we won't call it, with a cardigan. I don't know what you want to call it, but it is.
And no, don't call it a coat again.
We won't call it the coat again, and it is in black as well. But it's really chic in this camel. I just think it's stunning. It has that beautiful belt as well.
Did you put the belt with it?
No, the belt comes with it. And obviously you have the option of removing it if you want to, but I think the belt makes it, to be honest with you.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely, and I'm loving then the fact that the ending as well with that fringe detail. And we've been
very
seeing,
unusual,
isn't it? And we've been seeing a lot of that fringing as well coming through as well.
The belt comes off at the back.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
And then just the top here.
And we kept it because of the printing. We did keep it very, very simple in regard to the top. So we just kept it a simple little black shirt. And it has a little small bit of peplum really going on, I suppose, with the edging. We did leave it tucked outside. You could tuck it in if you wanted to, but I just felt for this particular shirt, it was better to keep it outside from a styling point of view.
The trousers are
the print.
And it's all about
this is not too much.
It's not too much, and this is kind of like a hexagon print, and it's beautiful. But again, like that, probably because I love the shades that are in it, I'm loving the beiges, I'm loving the cream and the black print. I think it works really well, and it's not too much there, Alan. You're right; it's quite subtle. And lovely pocket details on those trousers as well, which is really what I like as well, the high waist.
Oh, a little zip detail, is it?
Yeah, works really well.
And then the bag?
And the bag's just simply a little quilted bag in the tan. We'll be seeing it later on in the black with that chain details, we're picking up with the black to match the whole lot together. But I just think this is just absolutely beautiful.
Gorgeous.
Really classy and elegant.
Thank you so much, Mary.
And we were saying about prints. Remember we were saying about printing, a lot of people mightn't like print because you could be quite afraid, you could be put off it. But you can wear it in pieces like that, trousers, not overpowering.
Absolutely Now, Ciara's here with our second look today.
And our second look, we're staying with GM Boutique in Clare, Galway. And this, again, I'm loving this. Is a beautiful gilet.
Has anything got sleeves today?
No. Yes, actually it does.
Mandy's got
You're
sleeves
kind of hanging me out slightly to dry here. But anyway, we have this gorgeous padded gilet. Again, they have it in a few colours. It has the big pockets going on and the belt. But again, like this, I'm a different when you're buying. I always feel get value for money out of your clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And if you can mix and match your outfit, something like this, it never dates either. This is something you'll always have. And it's quite light, ideal to pop on, and away you go if you didn't want to wear a big coat.
Well, it's amazing to kind of go, you know, for something that can be casual, or you've just dressed it up to show that people can do that.
Exactly. And then we teamed up then with what we're calling the new colour of the season. Are you ready for this one? This is called the pumpkin shade, is what they're called. It's no longer orange, is what I would have known it as. It is the pumpkin shade, is what they're calling it. And I'm loving it. Well, fashionistas, fashion stylist people.
And this is the print skirt we saw earlier on.
And then we went with this gorgeous print skirt. And again, like that, it's quite bold, it's quite out there, but I'm loving all the different shades and colours in it.
So it's a faux wrap, it's elasticated at the back, so it will suit an awful lot of people.
It sure will, and it's quite flattering because it is that wrap detail as well. But again, it's all the colours we're in. It's the orange, it's the blues, it's the blacks. There's so many things you could wear with this. You could easily, I think, dress it up as well with a gorgeous blazer if you wanted to as well. For something a little bit different.
It's so nice. And the bag is the same in a black.
Exactly, the bag is the same and very same. And again, like that nice little stylish bag. And again, of course, the fact of loving the chain detail.
And I love the jewellery here, especially the neck piece. It's really
lovely.
striking.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a statement piece as well. Like that, would you have gone the chain because there's so much going on in the skirt? But I think it really, really works. And again, it's quite light. It might look very heavy, but it is quite light as well.
Okay, lovely stuff. And do you have a bracelet there as well?
No, we do. We actually did have a bracelet matching that chain, but I actually took it off.
Too much.
It was my own fault. Yeah, it was just.
She Coco Chanel, just take off one thing before you go outside.
I actually did.
Sarah is with us this morning.
Hi,
Sarah.
How are you?
So now we're heading to the stables in Borough, and of course, you know, regular feature with the stables in Borough. And then what type of printing is going on is the monochrome of this beautiful two-tone print. I think this is just absolutely so elegant and so classy. But what I love about this dress is that it's so forgiving on the waistline.
Is that a little bow?
It is. It's a little bow detail and has that ruching going on. So if you're a person that does carry extra few pounds on the tummy area, this is a brilliant dress for that. And I'm loving the fact that it has that little square button detail as well on that little diamante.
So nice.
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? And again, a shirt style works really well, ideal for people that are a little bit on the larger bust as well. That's what I like about this too, so it's quite flattering.
And lovely jewellery with this then. Let's start with the earrings. The earrings,
all of our jewellery is actually from Newbridge Silverware this morning, and it's the leaf print detail, brand new in store for their 23 collection, and went with a simple stud. And we have the chain and the bracelet matching. Because again, like that with print, you need to be so careful with jewellery and accessories, because you could actually go completely overpowering with it and it would kill a look. But I think this works really well.
This is really nice with it.
Absolutely.
And the bracelet's lovely as well.
It's really nice. If you had an oversized jumper as well, you could put a black jumper with it and have the bits popping out. It's beautiful. Really nicely cut dress, actually. It's really lovely.
I'm loving it as well. I think it's very, very elegant and very chic.
Lovely stuff.
Gorgeous.
Thank you very much,
Sarah, thanks so much. Cheers.
And Mary
beautiful at the back.
Yes,
the kind of stitching details there.
And Mary's back with us.
And Mary, we're staying with the stables in Borough, and again, like that, what type of printing we this time? We went with the flowering print, and this is, I just think this is so elegant and beautiful. Loving the long sleeve, Alan, to keep you happy. We have gone with the long sleeve on this one. And of course, loving the fact of the little kind of, you notice there, little bronze buttons going down the front of that dress, and of course also on the wrap of the front of it there as well.
Yeah, it can be dressed up or dressed down, really, actually.
Can't it?
It's just very handy. You know,
But it's what I like.
when you're getting a decent dress.
Absolutely, and you can easily go the boots or the heels.
Is that on it, or do you actually button that onto the side?
No, it's actually on it, so
like
it's not.
that,
It is like that. It's a little zip at the side, easy pop on, but away you go. But again, like that, a dress like this needs very little. It's just, it does what it does.
Yeah,
and
it certainly does.
It's a statement in itself.
It's enough. But you have two little neck pieces with it.
I did. I went with two neck pieces, and this is all from Dillon Oaks. They're in Liffey Valley Shopping Centre online. Indeed, they're actually opening in Belfast this weekend as well. But I went for two chains because I love layering when it comes to the chains and the earrings as well. The earrings are little hoops. Diamante, you can pick up on that in the camera there. And again, like that, keeping it quite simple and pared back rather than going over the top. I think that's what's important when it comes to jewellery.
And the layering of the chain was just a plain
It's nice,
snake
isn't
chain
it?
and then just kind of a chunky block chain as well.
Exactly, and actually it's my own name is actually on that chunky block chain. I have to say they put my own name on it when we were picking it up, and I'm loving this.
Going home
so it's nice. Well, unless there's
What does it have on its star?
Oh God, you're full of it this morning.
Terry's like, I'm wearing it, and Mandy's taking it home. All right.
I'll still take that compliment, but thanks very much.
Oh, I love it. Some nice stuff. That's a lovely dress.
It's look gorgeous, but it's all, as I said about print, you either love it or you don't, but I love it, and it's the way you're styling it is what's so important, in particular with print.
Mandy, Mark,
Mandy,
thank you so
Thank
much.
you both.
Cheers.
Thanks
Thank
a
you
million
very
as
much.
always. Thanks.
Now, coming up next, we've got expert advice to combat hair loss.
Yes, join us after this quick break.
Hi, everybody, welcome back. Hair shedding is something that happens to everyone. But when is it time to worry?
Really weirdly
What is
there.
hair shedding?
Here to answer our hair loss questions and provide solutions is trichologist Claire Fulham. Hello, Claire. How are you?
To you, Claire.
So we've been talking about this all morning. When it comes to hair shedding, when you brush your hair, you look at your hairbrush. There's going to be hair in it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You lose 100 hairs a day, so that's really, really normal. I suppose to kind of tell the difference and to make sure that you're keeping on top of it and an awareness of your own hair loss, just do that. Brush your hair through, have a look at the brush and go, yeah, that was kind of the same as yesterday, or yeah, that's the same as it always is. If that increases for like 3 weeks or more, and you're finding hair everywhere, like you'll know that you're kind of going through a shedding period, which is totally normal. Happens for loads.
Period.
Shedding
so that
period.
It's not constant.
No, it doesn't mean like hair shedding and hair loss. Hair shedding is normally quite temporary. To that kind of way, hair loss is more of a chronic condition that has to be managed, whereas hair shedding should only last, a couple of months really. So keeping an eye on it and being aware of how much hair you lose every day is.
Why does it happen? Like why?
Loads of reasons. So stress,
Okay.
big one, right? So stress. It can be medication. It can be blood loss. So if women have heavy periods, if women or men have operations, it can happen as well. Illness, medication.
Giving birth.
Giving birth, exactly, yeah.
What about for men? Is this just for women hair shedding, or do men hair shed, or it's mainly hair loss for men?
Men go through it as well, but you don't notice it as much because you don't tend to have as long hair as we do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So your hair does go through periods of fall that you wouldn't really notice too much, but myself and Miriam would notice because our hair is longer, so there's literally more of it. Does that make sense?
Because our straight partners shout about their drains and their plugs.
The drains.
Oh God, I can't be dealing with this on a
Cleaning the
Sunday morning.
drains.
Yeah, it's not good.
Okay, well listen, how do we start? Like, what is good? Well, I need to ask you about, let's move into what's good first.
What's good first? So an awareness of it first of all. So make sure you're aware of your hair fall cycle, right? So that is brushing, having a look, being aware of it. If you notice that something's up, do start looking after it a little bit. So scalp care is the way to go instead of hair care. Hair care is like makeup. We need makeup, but you need to start with the scalp if you want to make physical change.
Yeah, this is becoming a really big thing because we're
huge.
not looking below, and obviously this is a living, it's an organism, it's our skin, everything like that. So what are we going to start with today?
So we'll start with, this is a Nutri, gorgeous Irish brand. They're made here in Ireland. If you're kind of going through a shed, supplementing, it's always a good idea. Now go to the doctor, look at your bloods and kind of be targeted about what you are taking into your body. But this is a gorgeous general kind of multivitamin for the hair. So a Nutri are great. Just to kind of stabilise whatever's going on. Because if it is...
it? Nettle and zinc, spirulina and biotin.
Gorgeous. So they're all really, really important for hair growth, And if there's kind of a little bit of a nutrient deficiency, that'll kind of balance it for you a little bit, So trying to be a bit proactive about, right, let's start from the inside out. So that kind of way. So definitely, and they're made in Ireland, we should be supporting them, of course. A daily tonic for the scalp is so important. The same way as myself and Miriam won't leave the house without SPF, right? We won't get into bed without retinol, right? So all of these things that we do, that's our life. So all of the things that we do to our skin, we should be doing to our scalp as well. So making sure that we're, giving it something to do. So this is Remy, another Irish-made brand, made by Trua.
That's you?
Yeah, it's us.
You've got new stuff coming.
Yeah, so exciting. So this is like a daily serum for the scalp that's going to strengthen the hair. When you go through fall, okay, it's like anything. If you go through some sort of injury in the body, you have to build it up again, So this guy will go onto the scalp every single morning. Most of us recover from a shed. There's no doubt about that. You will recover the hair.
So once or twice a day?
Once a day, every morning
Does it have
to
to
start
be
your day.
wet hair?
No, wet, dry scalp, whatever you want.
And
yeah.
just put it in and work it into your hair.
Work it in, yeah, exactly, and get on with your day. And then you can be confident that, right, I've done something. Do you know what I mean? I've been proactive about the whole thing, you know?
Moisturiser for your scalp.
There you go. So if you suffer with dryness in the scalp, so let's say you've gone through a shed because of medication, let's say. Medication really kind of dries out the skin and the scalp as well. And sometimes then, I'll get my lovely little scalp here, right? That's what your scalp looks like. Sometimes if the surface area of your scalp is drier, it's going to be harder for the hair to get out. So if you suffer with dry scalp anyway, you know, you should be kind of moisturising the scalp a little bit. So that's what that one's good for.
Does it make it all greasy, your hair?
No, like, you know, if you're exfoliating, you're making room for the product to actually kind of get into the scalp a little bit, you know?
So those two go together, kind
Exactly. There's no point in using that moisturiser or any tonic for the scalp if you're not exfoliating the scalp, do you know? So trying to get rid of that really kind of top layer that's up on the scalp, you know, the same way as we do with the skin.
Okay, talk about exfoliating the scalp. I'm really starting to hear about this an awful lot at the moment.
So much talk about it. So scalp care is about to take off, they say. So we've seen this like huge kind of surge in skincare over the last 10, 15 years, and scalp care is about to take over a little bit. So making room for all your products, you know, that's the second fastest dividing cell in the body. So imagine all those skin cells up there. Think about pollution, think about dry shampoo, think about all the products that you use. If you want your scalp to be nice and fresh and will produce strong hair, you have to exfoliate.
What about is it minoxidil? Minoxidil, yeah, because you hear that for hair loss.
Yeah, minoxidil's fab with people with chronic conditions, so particularly men. So if you're going through genetic hair fall, minoxidil's brilliant. But like a lot of GPs prescribe it for people like young women. And when they stop using minoxidil for like temporary shedding periods, when you stop using minoxidil, you can go through something called a dread shed and lose a lot of hair. It's like any drug. If you take it away from someone, there'll be consequences to it. So be really careful of it, you know?
It's more for men than women then, obviously. Okay.
Chronic conditions.
So. Chronic conditions,
for hair loss. Okay.
And what's this one here?
That's an energising shampoo. So a really quick fix would be switch your shampoo to an energising one.
We'll go.
Claire Fum, thank you so much for joining us on that. There you go.
Remy from Truett, there
scalp.
we go.
Alan, what's coming up tomorrow?
Well, Tommy, on tomorrow's show, I'm going to be live in Tralee and Deric's going to be in Killarney. Amanda Brunker stopping by to chat about her latest comedy show. And plus, we're debunking the common myths and misconceptions when it comes to sustainability. Join us tomorrow. Have a great day.